That is the early earthquake warning in Japan. In 2011, a massive tsunami hit Japan and changed everything. Entire towns disappeared. Over 15,000 people lost their lives. But Japan didn't just rebuild, they innovated. This is how Japan uses technology to fight back against one of nature's most terrifying forces, the tsunami. Japanese tech versus tsunamis, how Japan protects its coastline. Chapter 1. Why Japan is obsessed with tsunami tech. Japan sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, an arc of intense seismic activity stretching across the Pacific Ocean. This location brings beauty in the form of mountains and hot springs, but also immense danger. Japan faces frequent earthquakes, and when the ground shakes under the ocean, tsunamis follow. Throughout history, Japan has endured some of the world's most devastating tidal waves. These weren't rare, isolated events, they were generational disasters. The Great Meiji Tsunami in 1896, the Showa Sanriku Tsunami in 1933, and the Nankaido Tsunami in 1946 all left lasting scars, taking tens of thousands of lives and sweeping away entire towns. But nothing compares to the events of March 11, 2011. On that day, a massive magnitude 9.0 earthquake struck off the coast of Tohoku. The sea recoiled and then surged inland with terrifying force. Waves as high as 40 meters traveled up to 10 kilometers inland, destroying everything in their path. Homes, schools, factories, and even nuclear power plants. Nearly 20,000 lives were lost. It was the most powerful earthquake ever recorded in Japan's history, and one of the deadliest tsunamis of modern times. For Japan, this was more than a wake-up call. It was the final warning. In the aftermath of the disaster, the government, engineers, scientists, and local communities came together with one shared mission: never again. They began to invest heavily in technology, infrastructure, and early warning systems. Concrete seawalls were redesigned. New evacuation towers were built. Tsunami sensors were placed deep in the ocean floor, connected by undersea cables to deliver real-time alerts. But it wasn't just about hardware, it was about education. Schools began to include tsunami drills regularly. Communities established evacuation plans and high ground shelters. Even smartphone apps were created to instantly notify residents of approaching waves. Japan's relationship with natural disasters is unique. It's a country that doesn't just endure nature's fury, it studies it, respects it, and adapts to it. And so, after centuries of loss, the nation has turned trauma into resilience and tragedy into innovation. Chapter 2. The 3 layers of Japan's tsunami defense. First layer, early detection system, Japan's first line of defense. Along the ocean floor, hundreds of pressure sensors and GPS wave buoys silently monitor the movement of the sea. These aren't ordinary devices. They can detect the tiniest change in water pressure or wave height caused by an undersea quake. When the earth rumbles beneath the Pacific, these sensors instantly send data to the Japan Meteorological Agency, or JMA. Their system can determine the quake's strength and location in less than 3 seconds. What happens next is almost like something out of a movie, but it's real life in Japan. Your smartphone buzzes with an alert, not just a notification, a loud, urgent alarm that says, "Tsunami warning, evacuate immediately." Televisions automatically switch to the emergency broadcast. Trains slow to a halt. Sirens echo through towns and coastal cities. And even vending machines stop selling, part of a nationwide safety protocol to prevent people from lingering. The goal? Give people even a few precious minutes to escape to higher ground. This early warning system doesn't stop tsunamis, but it gives people time, and in disasters, time is survival. Japan's early detection layer is a perfect mix of science, speed, and public discipline. It's the first and most crucial layer of defense against nature's most unpredictable force. Second layer, seawalls, the concrete shield. All along the coast, especially in high-risk areas, massive seawalls, known in Japanese as bushote, were constructed. Some stretch for kilometers. Others rise up to 15 meters tall. That's the height of a 5-story building, made entirely of concrete. These walls aren't meant to stop a tsunami completely. That would be nearly impossible, especially with waves that can reach the height of trees and travel at jet-like speeds. Instead, they are designed to slow it down, to weaken its force, and most importantly, to buy time. When a tsunami strikes, every second counts. These walls delay the wave's arrival inland, giving people more time to flee to higher ground. That extra 30 seconds, 1 minute, could mean the difference between life and death. Some of these structures are high-tech, with pressure sensors and automated gates. Others are simply built for brute resistance, giant barriers standing like guardians facing the sea, but they're not without controversy. Critics argue that in some places, the walls block scenic ocean views or cut communities off from the water they've lived next to for generations. Still, for many coastal towns, the seawalls are a symbol of resilience, a quiet reminder that Japan is always preparing for the next big one. These concrete giants form the second layer of Japan's tsunami defense, a physical shield, holding back nature just long enough to save lives. Evacuation systems, running up, not just away. In Japan, escaping a tsunami isn't just about running inland. Sometimes it's about running up. Along much of Japan's coastline, you'll find tsunami evacuation towers. These tall, sturdy structures are designed for one purpose only: saving lives when time is running out. They're often built in places where there's no time to reach a mountain or higher ground, like flat coastal towns or islands. You'll see staircases on the outside, emergency lighting, and enough space at the top to hold dozens, even hundreds of people. But that's not all. In some areas, Japan has gone even further, designating certain vertical evacuation buildings. These are strong, reinforced concrete structures, hotels, government buildings, or specially built shelters that are engineered to withstand the impact of massive waves. They're built tall and tough, with the lowest floors sometimes open so that water can pass underneath without knocking the building down. And these systems aren't just sitting there, they're constantly practiced. In coastal schools, tsunami drills are a regular part of life. Children learn exactly where to run and how to get there fast. Local governments also hold community-wide evacuation drills, testing how quickly people can get to safety and where bottlenecks might happen. In many places, there are clear signs pointing the way to the nearest shelter. Some towns even have smartphone alerts and speaker systems that give real-time evacuation instructions in multiple languages. The goal is simple: evacuate fast and smart, because when the water comes, you may only have a few minutes. This is the third layer of Japan's tsunami defense, not concrete walls or early alerts, but the people's ability to escape, and the infrastructure built to help them do it. Chapter 3: Smart Cities and Digital Tech for Tsunami Risk, Osaka and Kobe. These two cities sit dangerously close to the Nankai Trough, where experts predict a massive earthquake could strike in the coming decades. To prepare, scientists and city planners are turning to AI and supercomputer simulations. They run thousands of scenarios. What if the quake happens at night? What if it hits during school hours? How fast will the tsunami reach each district? By simulating these different conditions, they can redesign evacuation zones, optimize shelter locations, and even adjust the layout of neighborhoods to avoid bottlenecks. But it doesn't stop there. Along the coast, drones constantly scan the landscape. They capture aerial images and 3D terrain data, updating tsunami flood maps with incredible precision. This data feeds directly into the hands of local governments and even residents. In some regions, your smartphone can show you exactly how high water could reach, right where you're standing. Augmented reality apps make this even more personal. You open the app, point your phone at a building, and suddenly you see a digital overlay. This street was underwater in 2011. This wall couldn't stop the wave. It's not a history lesson in a textbook. It's an emotional reminder in your everyday life. Why is that so important? because in cities like Osaka, millions of people live near the coast. Many are young, many have never experienced a major disaster, but through AR, they can feel the scale of past tragedies and mentally prepare for what might come. And when a real disaster strikes, AI comes into play again. Some prefectures now use AI-powered evacuation systems. Here's how it works. The moment an earthquake is detected, your phone buzzes. The app instantly calculates your current location, the projected tsunami height, and the estimated arrival time. Then it maps the safest evacuation route, factoring in your distance from the coast, road conditions, and even population density along the way. It can tell you, don't go to shelter A, it's full. Go to shelter B and take route C to avoid flooding. That level of personalized guidance could save thousands of lives. Some of these systems even work offline, storing evacuation maps locally on your device, just in case the network goes down during a quake. And it's not just governments or researchers driving this. Japanese universities and startups are working together on disaster tech projects, real-time tsunami detection buoys with AI alerts, AI image recognition that spots blocked roads from surveillance cameras, evacuation route simulations that adjust for wheelchairs, elderly residents, and school groups. All of this fits into a bigger trend, turning Japanese cities into living disaster labs, constantly evolving, constantly learning, because in Japan, the next tsunami is not a matter of if, but when. And when it comes, every second counts. That's why smart cities matter, not just for convenience, but for survival. Chapter 4: Engineering Wonders. Let's talk about some of the most insane engineering projects Japan has created to protect lives from the unimaginable force of tsunamis. These aren't just concrete barriers. Some of them feel like they're straight out of science fiction, but they're very, very real. 1. Giant floodgates, Keidongyan, Karoseki. In several harbors across Japan, especially in tsunami-prone regions like Wakayama, Kochi, and Miyagi, you'll find massive hydraulic floodgates, called karoseki, that stand guard like silent sentinels. When an undersea quake is detected and a tsunami warning is issued, these gates automatically close, cutting off rivers or harbor inlets from letting massive tsunami waves rush inland. Some of these are controlled remotely by disaster management centers. Others are fully automated, using vibration and pressure sensors to trigger a shut-in response within seconds. They don't just stop water, they redirect it, slow it down, and buy time for evacuation. You'll often see them embedded into city infrastructure. They're so seamlessly built into the environment that most locals pass by without realizing there's a giant piece of life-saving tech under their feet or beside their fishing dock. 2. Underground Mega Drainage, Shoduquan Waiguo Feng Shui Lu, GCAN's project. Beneath the surface of Saitama, just north of Tokyo, lies one of the largest underground flood diversion facilities in the world, the GCAN's project. Also called the Metropolitan Area Outer Underground Discharge Channel, this massive system looks like something out of a movie. It has 5 huge silos, each up to 65 meters tall, connected by over 6 kilometers of tunnels. These tunnels can channel excess water from rivers when there's heavy rainfall, typhoons, or even tsunami-related surges. Imagine an underground cathedral where water flows instead of prayers. Water is collected, stored, and then pumped out into the Edo River using turbines the size of jet engines. Without GCANs, even moderate floods could overwhelm parts of Tokyo's urban sprawl. During disasters, this facility becomes Tokyo's hidden savior, protecting millions of people who might not even know it exists. It's not just a drainage system. It's a monument to how Japan combines civil engineering and disaster risk management on a massive scale. 3. Floating houses. This one might sound like something from a sci-fi anime, but floating houses are real, and they're being tested in parts of Japan prone to both earthquakes and tsunamis. These homes are built on buoyant foundations. When the ground shakes, the structure stays stable, and if water starts to rise from flooding, tsunamis, or storm surges, the house itself floats up with it, staying level and secure. Of course, they're anchored so they don't drift away like boats, but their key design feature is resilience through buoyancy. Architects are experimenting with materials, weight balance, and cost efficiency, to make these floatable homes safe and accessible, not just for luxury customers, but for entire communities at risk. In the future, we might see entire neighborhoods of floatable homes along Japan's coastline, homes that don't resist water, but rise with it. Together, these engineering wonders show just how far Japan has gone, both above ground and below, to outthink nature's most terrifying forces. From robotic floodgates and mega drainage tunnels to floating homes, Japan's tsunami defenses are no longer just walls and sirens. They're a high-tech, multi-layered ecosystem built to protect lives in the age of climate extremes and unpredictable disasters. Chapter 5: The Role of Technology in Saving Lives. In 2011, the tsunami hit fast. Technology wasn't fast enough. Many people didn't have time to react, especially in coastal towns. But fast forward to today, and technology is finally catching up with nature. Now, Japan has developed a nationwide early warning network designed to squeeze every second out of the ticking clock before disaster strikes. Let's talk about some of the tech that can literally save your life. First, there's the NHK Disaster Broadcast Override. If you're watching TV or listening to the radio, it will suddenly stop, immediately replaced by an emergency message. NHK has a direct link to Japan's meteorological agency, so the message comes within seconds of a quake. Then there's the Area Mail Disaster Info System, or Jinji Subao Miru, Kinkyu Sakuho Meru. Your phone screams with a siren, even if it's on silent mode. It's government mandated, meaning everyone with a Japanese SIM card will get it. Another popular tool is the Yurikuru Call app. It predicts how strong the shaking will be before it reaches you. That's right, using seismic wave data, it estimates shaking in your area in real time and warns you before it hits. In towns and villages, you'll hear loudspeakers mounted on poles, blaring sirens and announcements. Sometimes the voice is even personalized, recorded by a local government official so that residents instantly recognize it. But it's not just devices. Let's talk about a powerful story of human-tech cooperation. Case study: Kamaishi City. In the 2011 tsunami, something incredible happened in Kamaishi. Over 3,000 schoolchildren survived because they had practiced evacuation drills, and technology gave them a few precious minutes. As soon as the tremor hit, the children didn't wait for teachers to tell them what to do. They evacuated to high ground instantly, following the route practiced again and again in drills. And that route? It was carefully planned using hazard maps and digital simulations. This is now called the Miracle of Kamaishi. A combination of education and fast communication saved an entire generation. Beyond that, Japan is working to improve real-time tsunami forecasting. Underwater pressure sensors across the Pacific detect changes in ocean levels, feeding data to supercomputers that model wave heights and ETA faster than ever before. And now, some cities are experimenting with location-based evacuation routing. If a tsunami alert is triggered, AI can analyze your position and suggest the safest evacuation path using your phone. Imagine this. You get an alert. Your phone vibrates. A map pops up, showing exactly where to run based on real-time traffic, building safety, and wave prediction. That's where Japan's heading next. Technology won't stop the tsunami, but it can warn you, guide you, and buy you time. And when seconds count, that can be the difference between life and death. Chapter 6: What the World is Learning from Japan. Japan's tsunami defense system isn't just about saving lives here. It's become a global model. Let's look at how other countries have taken notes from Japan's hard-earned lessons. Indonesia, after the devastating 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, turned to Japan's methods. They adopted buoy-based tsunami warning systems, built new evacuation routes, and started running disaster drills in coastal schools, directly inspired by Japanese policies. Chile, which faces the Pacific like Japan, also took action. They've built coastal tsunami walls, improved earthquake early warning systems, and collaborated with Japanese engineers to upgrade their defenses. Hawaii, a U.S. state sitting in the middle of the Pacific, uses Japan's simulation technologies to create Pacific-wide tsunami alerts. They've even adapted some of Japan's educational materials for schools. So why is Japan leading the world in tsunami resilience? Because they've turned repeated tragedy into innovation. Their approach is multi-layered, from tech to community education, from physical infrastructure to cultural awareness. Even Japan's kids are trained to know what to do when the shaking starts. That's not fear, it's empowerment. But here's the thing, no matter how advanced we get, nature can't be controlled. Disasters will keep coming, tsunamis will still hit, but what Japan shows us, what the world is now realizing, is that with the right combination of technology, planning, and mindset, we can be ready, we can survive, and maybe one day we can prevent tragedy on the scale we've seen before. If you found this video interesting, like and subscribe. And now I want to ask you, would you feel safe living near the coast in Japan? Let me know in the comments. Because safety isn't just about where you live, it's about how prepared you are. Thanks for watching.